Hello and welcome to Talking Points. Tonight's episode is going to be who stays and who goes. We're going to look at each individual player and we're going to decide as a group who we should keep at Spurs. We're not going to go too much into all of the transfers about who we should bring in, but we are going to look at each player individually. So I'm going to welcome my guests. In the house, we have guest Tommy from SUBSRCRIBE and regular guests on the show, Mike-Hotspur Hustler and Darius3k, Paxton Road Tv. I had a little problem with the screen earlier, but then it seems to be okay now.
Seems to be all right.
It's all right now. It's all right now. Before we start, please like, subscribe, share, comment. We can't do any of this without your support, so please leave your comments in the comment section. Press that like button. Smash that like button, should I say. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Now then, gentlemen. Let's get into this.
Straight in.
Yeah. No messing about.
Let's do this.
First things first, let's put up the goalkeepers. We have Hugo Lloris, Joe Hart, Alfie Whiteman. You can see the ages. Two of our keepers are aged 34, one 22. Not seen much of Alfie Whiteman this season. We've seen mostly Hugo Lloris, and we've also seen a little bit of Mr. Hart. So I'm going to start with you, Tommy, as you're our guest on the show. Let's start with Hugo Lloris firstly. Does he stay or does he go for next season? What's your thoughts?
Well, I can't believe him and Hart are the same age. I wasn't aware of this. I thought Hart was slightly younger. It's incredible. But he's always been, even when he was at his best, Lloris, I've never liked short goalkeepers. I've never really liked short goalkeepers. And now he's sort of, I think it's safe to say everyone can agree he's not going to be around for too much longer, whatever happens. If it's not this summer he leaves, it'll be next summer. As you said, you don't want to talk too much about new players coming in, but I think this is the perfect opportunity to get Nick Pope. I think his contract's running out. So with that in mind, I think I would get rid of Lloris. I'd get rid of Lloris this summer if I'm being perfect.
Remember, this is for this summer. This summer only, a once in a lifetime summer sale. And Tommy's saying, get rid of. Is he gone?
Our captain, let's get rid of him.
Captain.
Is this like room 101? Is this like room 101?
He's gone now. Mr. Hotspur Hustler, I'll put it back up again. Hugo Lloris, age 34. Does he stay or does he go?
I would. Let's be realistic here. If we were gonna get rid of him, we would have probably a lineup in place for him already. So I would keep him for another season. Purely on the basis, I think we need to, depending on who comes in and stuff. Would that manager have enough time to bring in a goalkeeper, bring in whoever they want? I just don't think a keeper's priority. I think Lloris is still good enough. Certainly to see us through to maybe the January transfer window, and then maybe bring in someone. If he still wants to be at Spurs, I'd give him another season. I just think there's too many other priorities for us as a team that we would need to concentrate on. And goalkeeper in the grand scheme, I mean, you only had to see him in the big game against City. He had a great game. He kept us in it. So he's still got it in his locker. I'd keep him for next season anyway.
For next season, okay. Darius, you're next.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think Tommy makes a point that I think now is the perfect time to kind of get our new keeper in. I think a keeper is a sort of position where you have to make the right decision. And if you do make the right decision, that keeper can be your next keeper that keeper can be your keeper for the next decade. So I think it is the right time to get rid of Lloris. However, I'm going to have to agree with Mike. I think this year, there's other priorities in the team, and particularly starting 11 that we need to make and we need to prioritize first as opposed to a goalkeeper. And that's the only reason why I would keep Hugo Lloris for this window, just because I think that he has had slip-ups, and I think he's gotten quite a lot worse over the last 3 or 4 years. But I will say he has gotten us out of a lot of holes. He is our captain. He came out, and after that Zagreb game, I know that you're not going to come out and say things like, oh, we could have done better in this and that. But that interview that he made, it really did convince me that he does want to be a part of this team. I know that he's been seen laughing and joking with Aurier and stuff like that with players in the game, but I'm not really bothered about that sort of stuff. I think that Lloris does care about the team, and I think that he can provide us with one more year. And you never know, Tommy, we might get a goalkeeper in, and it might be like the transitional year where Lloris maybe starts and then the new keeper comes in. So you never know what could happen. But for me, I think that if we're looking at the keepers that we've got at the moment, and if we maybe don't guarantee a goalkeeper coming in the summer and we lose Lloris, that could be a lot worse. So I'd say keep Lloris and then still probably potentially bring in another keeper.
Okay, I'm going to keep it quite simple. I would keep Lloris. Even if we brought in another keeper, it's competition. He's a leader, and I think he's a player that ultimately does seem to want the best for Spurs. And you said, Darius, you mentioned about the interview. So I'm going to be Lloris in. Let's move on.
Here we go.
Here we go. I'm going to start with this one quite simply. Joe Hart, next keeper. He's contracted until 2022. I want him gone in the summer. I don't want Joe Hart. I'd rather have Alfie Whiteman as a backup if that's all we had, or, as I said, replace him with somebody younger. I don't think we need two 34-year-old keepers in the squad. And Joe Hart, Butterfingers, Chocolate Fingers, whatever you want to call him. No, thank you very much. Who's next? Let's go to Darius first on this one.
Yeah, I'll keep this one short. I never really saw the point in that Joe Hart signing at the start, the whole experience thing. No, if you're not a good goalkeeper, I don't really care if you've got a good personality. Paulo Gazzaniga didn't really do nothing wrong. I don't really see the point in him going out to Elche, and I just don't think Joe Hart's that good. So yeah, he's a nice guy, plays cricket with the boys, has a bit of fun in the changing room. But overall, if we're replacing him for Paulo Gazzaniga, there's a bit of a problem there. And I just think that get rid of Joe Hart, get another keeper in, and we can have three decent keepers. And then you've got Alfie Whiteman as a fourth, maybe. So, yeah, Joe Hart has no reason to be here. He's 34, like you said. We've got another 34-year-old goalkeeper as our captain. So, it's not really needed, in my opinion.
Mr. Hotspur Hustler. Joe Hart.
Again, I'm 50-50 with him. I see why he's there. And I see what he can bring to a squad. Maybe not necessarily in what he brings to the team on the pitch, but within the squad. But I don't think Alfie Whiteman's. I don't think he's ready to step up as a number two. If he came into the Premier League, I would seriously be concerned with him being in the sticks. If I had to make a choice. I'd stick because just on the basis that the reason I'm sticking is I still go on the basis that we've got other areas of the team that need more serious addressing than keepers. And to be fair, if Lloris is fit enough for the Premier League, I'd be happy if we just had the same sort of scenario as we did this season. Maybe Whiteman could step up into a few of the Europa games to get the experience that he needs, but he's not ready to be a number two or back up to Lloris yet. In my eyes, he needs another season out on loan. If Gazzaniga's around, then yeah, cool, bring him back. If a new manager came in and they liked Gazzaniga, I'd be happy for Gazzaniga to come back in as a number two, and then maybe just get rid of Hart. But yeah, I don't want to let him go. The only problem is you don't want to let him go and pay him off. So.
But he's only got 1 year left after this summer. Anyway.
Yeah, so to be fair,
his wages are low as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't think he's on anything more than 80 grand a week, apparently, something like that. I can't give you the exact figures, but he's not on any more than 100 grand. I definitely know that much.
I think he's on like 25-30. I think he's on like 25-30. To be honest,
I thought he was on quite low. I thought he was on.
I was about to say, it can't be if it's anywhere near 80.
I was going to say.
80.
I was going to say, then that's cool.
Heart attacks.
I might have misread that, but yeah, because that was the reason I was saying I wouldn't.
Yeah. I'd keep Hart on that basis.
Okay, Tommy, Joe Hart.
I'm glad I'm gonna agree with someone this time. I'm with Mike. I'll keep him. One of the reasons I'll keep him is for the homegrown reason. We're looking at selling a lot of homegrown players this summer. We're going to get onto that. Winks, Dele Alli. I think Doherty counts. When Bale goes back, he's currently homegrown. So we're really going to have to look at that state of affairs. And for that reason alone, I would definitely keep him. I mean, You've got three slots. You've got 3 slots, and you've got one of them's got to be homegrown at least. And Alfie Whiteman as a third. You've got 2 homegrown slots there. Then you only need another 6. You only need another 6. And if we sell Dele Alli, Winks, and that, as a backup keeper, I think he's fine. I think he's fine as a backup keeper. But I'd agree with Whiteman. I'd love him to get some Europa League experience because we've always had a third keeper, Spurs keeper with that slot. I think, I can't remember the name.
Michel Vorm at one point, wasn't it?
No, but there's always a youth player. We always had like a youth player.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They never made an appearance. I think we had Jordan Archer. We had someone after that. They were rated highly, but they never made an appearance. So I'd like to see someone like that. Play in the Europa League, that would be interesting. But I think for the homegrown reason, I'd keep Joe Hart.
On our final keeper, Alfie Whiteman. Mike, come to you first on this one. Alfie Whiteman, stay or go?
I'll keep this very simple and quick. Keep.
Okay.
100% keep.
Same. I'll just add on that what you guys said. I think a loan would be great for him, especially if Gazzaniga comes back. Then a loan for Alfie Whiteman at 22 years old. Goalkeepers, you know about goalkeepers hitting their prime sort of later on in their careers. I think he's got room for improvement, and you never know. He might turn out to be a decent goalkeeper. So yeah, I'm keep as well.
Tommy, what's your thoughts on Alfie Whiteman?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100% keep him. Yeah, 100% keep him.
Well, we're all in agreement with that. I'm going to say yes to Alfie Whiteman. We haven't seen enough of him anyway. And at the age of 22, you know, there's obviously lots of room for experience and improvement. And if he gets an opportunity to play in some of these domestic things, and that's the point I'm saying. If Joe Hart's a number 2, then where's he going to get game time? So that's what I'm saying. I'd rather have Alfie Whiteman as a number 2, just so we can see if he's any good. That's my point about Joe Hart being in there.
You see with the goalkeepers, you see what happened with Scott. Was it Scott Carson? He got thrown at the deep end, and that just ruined his career after those blunders for for England. So for me, he has to go out on loan. He needs the experience, but going as a number 2, it could be a lot of pressure, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I wouldn't want to be in the sticks at 22.
Especially if you get a freak injury, like what happened to Lloris.
And you just know our number 1 goalkeeper will get injured. Whoever's our number 1 goalkeeper.
What's his name at Newcastle? Is it what's his name? The young one?
Carl Darlow.
Darlow, that's the one. Darlow. He's a young one, and he seems to be number 1 there. He's doing all right. So
different pressures, though, mate.
I know, I understand what you're saying, but Joe Hart don't seem to be able to deal with that much pressure as well, because I've seen Butterfingers, Chocolate Fingers do stuff that I don't. Anyway. I'm going to move on. Let's go on to the defensive side of things. And we have in defense, we have Matt Doherty, Sergio Reguilon, Toby Alderweireld, number 6, Joe Rodon, number 5, Serge Aurier, Japhet Tanganga, Ben Davis, and Danny Rose. Quite a ride.
Forgot Danny Rose even played for us. Literally forgot Danny Rose played for us.
Let me just take off this banner so we can see the age of these players. So you can see a good range of players. We've got the youngest there at 22 in Japhet Tanganga, all the way up to 32-year-old Toby Alderweireld. First things first, let's come to Darius. Right. Let's start with Matt Doherty. And we're going to probably have to move a little bit quicker on each of these defenders. Yeah. But let us talk about Matt Doherty. In your opinion, should he stay or should he go summer?
Not too sure. I wasn't too sure on this one, but ultimately, I came to the decision to sell. I think that Matt Doherty, I was saying that Jose Mourinho shattered his confidence, but I think any manager that comes in now, I don't think we're going to see the best of Matt Doherty. I think that he's just kind of shot for confidence. I think that the system doesn't suit him. I think he's not comfortable. I think he's not got many allies, friends in the dressing room. It doesn't seem like he kind of is fit in, and I don't really see that improving. And he's 29. I know he's 29, so he's kind of in his prime. But me personally, I'm gonna, and this is a personal opinion, but I personally would keep Aurier over Doherty, and that's the reason why I would sell Doherty. And that's only because I can imagine with a new manager in charge, you could probably get more out of Aurier than you would Doherty. So yeah, for me, I would sell Matt Doherty. Yeah.
Before I move on, just want to say hello to everybody that's watching. NG23, Spurs Debate TV, Solo, thank you. Kevin Murray, Delts, Kevin again with the comments, and I'm going to use Kevin because I'm going to go next. I'm just going to use Kevin's comment. Doherty out. Simple as that for me. Doherty out. No more to be said. So, Tommy, Matt Doherty, for you.
Now, as Darius said, it's one or the other. You can't get him and Aurier out. So it's one or the other. I think I might be in the minority. I think Aurier really improved under Jose, especially with his errors. He's making nowhere near the same amount of errors as he was before. So with that in mind, I would keep Aurier over him. But we still certainly need to sign a right back.
Yeah.
The Tanganga situation is a problem. There's so many ways to look at the right back. So you could sell both. You could sell Doherty and Aurier and keep Tanganga and then sign another right back. We're all over the place at right back. We sold Trippier. We sold Walker Peters last season. Mm-hmm. But Doherty, I think over Aurier, yeah, I'd sell him. 29. It's going to be difficult for him to. It's going to be difficult for him to progress and adapt to right back from wing back. We saw that last season. This season, with Wolves playing him at wing back under Nuno De Santo. Maybe if De Santo comes in, I'd keep him. But no. You know, he'll go. Yeah, over Aurier, I'd get rid of Doherty.
Mike,
I'm in the other field in this one. I'd keep Doherty over that cretin Aurier all day long, mate. Aurier is poison. Get the fucker out of the club.
Strong. That's strong.
He is poison, mate. He's poison. He hasn't paid for Poch. He hasn't paid for Mourinho. He ain't going to pay for the next manager. Get rid of him.
That is fair because his attitude stinks as well, didn't it?
His attitude is just any player that leaves at half time and leaves your boys in the fucking trenches against Liverpool when you're 1-0 down. You can't keep him. You can't keep him. So Aurier, Doherty may not be as good as Aurier going forward, but what I think Doherty brings to us is a bit more harmony to the team. I do actually think he is probably quite well liked at the club. I think Aurier brings a lot more trouble to any manager than Doherty does, and on that basis, I'd get rid of Aurier. Get rid of him. God, mate. If I was manager, we don't
need to go to Aurier, do we? We don't need to go to Aurier.
Get rid of him. And on that basis, you can't get rid of.
Hold on.
You can't get rid of two right backs.
Hold on. Not
two birds with one stone, huh? Two birds with one stone.
No. Not everybody's had their say on Aurier. I want my little bit of say on Aurier. Come on now. Let's go back to the graphic. Right. Go on, say Mike.
If you keep Aurier, I'm going to question you guys as a Spurs fan.
Let's get on to it. I can't wait.
Sergio Reguilon. I'm going to.
This is easy in my opinion for everyone.
Yeah,
for me, he's got to stay. Yeah. I know he's had a couple of games where we've not seen the best of him, but I think we are yet to see the very best of Sergio Reguilon. And at 24 years of age, for me, he's a player that I want to see more of. I want to see him in a Spurs shirt next season. And if that means, we have to, lose Ben Davies, we'll come on to him in a minute, then so be it. But a stay for me. Tommy.
Without a doubt. He's struggled the last 4 games. He's struggled. And he's not as phenomenal as people made out earlier on in the season. If you remember, even when he come back from injury, because like Bale, he sort of came injured. When he came back from injury, Ben Davies actually won his place off him because he really struggled defensively. So coming from La Liga, he still has a lot to learn. We've seen that recently in the last 4 or 5 games, but he is incredible going forward. It's not just his explosive pace. Against the big teams, he's not going to get through like quality right backs. His crossing's fantastic. Like the curl and whip he puts on his crossing is absolutely magnificent. Yeah. With that in mind, but it's problematic with Reggie because if he does really well, Real Madrid can sign him back, can't they? So we sort of don't want him to do great in many ways. But if he gets a full season, the injuries. Maybe
that's why he was playing so pants in the last few games at times.
Yes,
maybe he wants to play, and he's been told to play pants. SUBSRCRIBE TV Aurier should have been sold the night he walked out halfway through our game wearing that Spurs button in his chest. We'll come on to him. Woohoo! We've got some passionate people, and I've got some passionate things to say about others. So I'm going to get on to the next one anyway. So next up, Toby Alderweireld, 32 years of age. Is it time for him to go, or should he stay for another season? Should I say, Mike? What's your thoughts?
I would. This is quite easy for me. I'd keep Toby, even though he's 32 years of age. His experience, you can't buy experience, and I mean, whoever we go in to buy at centre back are going to be young anyway. So even if he only plays in the important games, I'd keep him. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt in my eyes. Just on that basis of his experience, you can't buy experience. Not like that anyway. So I'd keep him.
Agreed. Very very simple for me. I'd keep Toby. I think at his age, I don't think he's old. I think people think that he's old. He's proven that he's definitely got the qualities still, and I think we need that experience. So I'm definitely an older Viral in. Darius.
I'm the same. I think, in my opinion, I think every team who wants to be challenging for multiple trophies in a season should have 4 decent centre backs in that squad, and I think that there should be one of those centre backs who is an experienced, level-headed. Do you know, like you say, Mike, you can't buy experience. Thiago Silva at Chelsea, for example, Johnny Evans at Leicester. There should be one of those centre backs who kind of can command and show the routes and the ways for a young centre back. So I think that Toby has a great place in this team, and in my opinion, he probably still is our best centre back. So why would you get rid of your best centre back? We've just given him a contract, so I've got no problem with Toby staying. I'm 100% for it as well.
That's good. Tommy?
I'm with Darius there. He's the best of a bad bunch at the moment. He is our best centre back, quite frankly, isn't he?
I think he's actually played well the last few games. But yeah, sorry.
He seems to have changed his game a lot in the last 2 or 3 years. We saw him, he was a long passer. He was a massive long passer of the ball. So that's sort of gone out of his game. And he's a part of that is because I think he's gone deeper and deeper and he doesn't press anywhere near as much as he used to. Therefore, he's going to be further back and the long passes are going to be even more difficult. So he's definitely adapted. I just hope if he stays, that doesn't go too far. He drops back and stops pressing even more, because I see it too much. He needs to go for the ball sometimes. And
his anticipation is really good as well, isn't it? Like, he normally does make a good tackle, last-ditch tackle. Toby's got that, so.
Yeah, he's got the timing and the experience. So he still is the best of a bad bunch. I'd keep him without a shadow of a doubt.
You have to change your game you have to adapt as a centre back anyway, because you lose your 5 yards of pace, which most centre backs rely on. So you have to change your game. You have to read the game better and sort of have the others that are around you in your back line. If you've got them all singing on the same hymn sheet, then they do your running and your covering for you, don't they? You
have to bloody adapt your game if you're playing with number 6. We'll get onto him soon. We're
getting onto him next, aren't we?
Because we're getting onto him soon, because I've got my, just like how you was passionate about Aurier. Let's just read the comment. Toby has slowed a bit. Kevin has said that. You know what? I don't think he was ever super fast, but I think his positional sense is good. I think his reading of the game is good, and I think if he's got somebody alongside him that's not equally as good, but somebody at least he can do a job, I think Toby's still the number 1 centre back for us. Hopefully, let's see who this is. Let's see. Okay, number 6.
Go on,
Sam. Take it away. Stage is yours.
I'm gonna let me just take this thing. I have got not much more to say. If I see him, no, he can't be playing anymore. No. Number 6, please. If you can, I'll help you pack. Just take your stuff and go. Just go. Nothing more to be said. Tommy?
Yeah. First player got him. I like to speak a lot, and I like to, go off on one sometimes. But he's a goner. He's a goner. First out the door this summer for me.
Darius,
I'll do you one better, Tommy. I think there's one more player maybe later on that I would put out before him. But everything else you said, I completely agree with. I think that he's had enough chances now. And you know what? It sounds bad. And I know we shouldn't really be talking about players like assets and such, because they are human beings at the end of the day. But I think you could probably still get a decent fee for him as well. He's 24. Yeah. I think that it's the pressure of playing for a team, and especially being managed by Jose at the time. I think that he just looked worse, being under constant pressure. And I just think that if he went to a club maybe where they had less pressure or they dominated their league, if he stayed at Ajax, maybe he could have turned out to be a decent centre-back. So I just don't think it's ever going to work out for him. And the quicker the better he goes, because it's not fair on him to start games and get howlers when he shouldn't even be playing, really, should he?
there's a couple of things for me for number 6. When Jose came and looked at him, basically laughed in his face and said, we targeted you in the final. That done it for me. And the other thing that's done it for me, I can't remember what team it was he played, but obviously we all know when he did the pirouette and slammed
Man City.
That was it. Done.
He was like
finished.
He was like a whisk.
He does it a lot. I don't know. His legs flailing about on the floor. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it. I've never seen it before.
I would drive him to the airport.
He's unique. He's unique. We can give him that. He's definitely unique. He's definitely unique.
Unique is a perfect word, man.
The only thing he needs is a GPS.
If it's EasyJet, he needs to fly, and I'll get him an EasyJet ticket. Not a problem. Joe Rodon.
I think that's easy as well for everyone.
Yeah, easy. Keep
has to be.
Should we just move on from Joe Rodon? Because I think that's we need
Definitely.
Joe Rodon. I think him and Toby, could form a really good partnership. But let's see what happens. Okay.
Can I just say, Joe Rodon? Can I just say one thing about Joe Rodon? He's on $9,000 a week. He's on $9,000 a week. What is that?
Are you serious?
What is that?
Are you being serious?
I'm serious. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at wage structure for one of my streams. How much should we sign him for? 15, 20 million pounds?
It's 11-ish. Wow,
honestly,
that's crazy.
The thing is, he should be grateful though, because he's probably got a pay rise from when he was at Cardiff. Was it Cardiff or Swansea? Swansea.
I don't even think he has. Do you know what? I don't even think he has.
He's on 9.6 grand a week. He's on 9.6 grand a week. Yeah, he's on 9.6k a week. I just checked.
Daniel
Levy, he's a boss man.
have to give Daniel Levy that for being such a gangster. I don't care what anybody says in the world.
Daylight robbery.
Wow,
that's madness.
That is madness.
I don't know how much Sanchez is on. But
would you like me to check? Would you like me to check or not?
No, please don't check. Don't check.
Come on, man. Come on, do it.
I'm sorry, Sam.
At least 70. He's going to be on at least 70, isn't he? 70 to 80.
He's on 65k a week. 65k a week.
He's got a bloody.
Absolutely.
He's got a bloody long contract. He's got a long contract as well.
Oh god! Can we not talk about it? Can we move on to the next? Oh god! The next one's even worse.
This is again. This 2 is going to be by numbers, I think. So number 15.
I'll take this one first. Can I just be really quick on this one? I am sell for this one. Him and Sanchez, or should I say number 6 and number 15. EasyJet 2-for-1 deal. We'll get you both out at the same time. That's just me, guys. You can go ahead now. I'm done.
Mike. Number 15.
I'm going on the basis of getting rid of 2 centre backs in one transfer window is going to be too difficult. And
come on, Mike. Come on, please.
I would if we can only get rid of one, because that's realistically. I mean, let's be realistic here. We're only going to be able to get rid of one, really. I mean, 2. If Levy can get rid of 2, then Mike, he's a boss man.
King. Let's just patch Ledley King up and get him out there instead.
Bionic leg. Give him a bionic leg.
You can't keep this guy.
I'm going on the basis that you got to look at the greater evil here, and number 6, mate. He's got to go. I'm going to give number 15. Right, I'm going to give him till the January transfer window, and then I'll get rid of him.
Fair.
Tommy, last thoughts on number 15.
Do you know what? 16, 17, when we were going for the title. For me, everyone talks about a lack of right winger. For me, he was the weakest player. He was the weakest player in the team at defensive midfield. Why we ever moved him into defensive midfield, I'll never know. But he's a very difficult player to value. I'd put him up there with Dele Alli, because he's had nearly 50 caps for England. That probably says more about England the last 4 or 5 years until this season than anything else. But he's had nearly 50 caps for England. He's only 27, and he only turned 27 in January. So it's difficult to value, very difficult to value. And for that, I think Levy will find him difficult to value. He might say 20, 25 million pounds now in Levy. And I don't think anyone's going to pay that. I
tell you what could happen. I wonder if he speaks Italian, because Jose's now gone to Roma, so therefore Jose loves him.
Oh, please.
Jose might take him off.
Oh no, you can take him.
Jose, another person. If you're watching, Jose, again, I'll help. I don't mind paying half the flight. Come on. Let's go on.
We'll take Mancini. We'll take Mancini off them. They've got a good centre back. Mancini's a good centre back. We'll do a swap deal, straight swap. That'd be fantastic.
I'm down.
Right. So I'm not quite as hard on Sergio.
John. I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again, mate.
Not even the 2 assists. Not even the 2 assists on the weekend.
Nah, mate. After this season's done, I'd get rid of him. Fuck him off.
Is that it, Mike?
Yeah. I will actually pack his suitcase. I will drive him to the airport, and I'd chauffeur him the other side just to make sure that he's not playing for Tottenham again. You don't leave your teammates at half time. I don't care unless it's a matter of life and death. You don't leave your teammates at half time. I don't care. It just doesn't happen.
Maybe he left the iron on. I don't know. You never know. You never know.
Chicken on
No, gone.
Darius.
I'm not gonna be long. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. And the only reason I'm saying keep is because one, my brain is already thinking these guys are going to buy a right back this summer. I think we have to buy a right back this summer. And two, I think that he can provide more than Matt Doherty can. And I think if we were to keep him for one more year, it's difficult though, because he isn't going to sign a new contract. And do you cash out on him? Do you cash out on him, or do you sell him for a free? Personally, I'm saying keep. I'm saying keep only because he's better than Doherty, and I think that we have to get right back anyway. So he's not going to see much game time.
But look where everything comes down that channel. He is our weakest link. In that, everything comes from that gap.
Don't you think he's improved? Don't you think he's improved?
I think he has.
I think he has. Challenges in the penalty area. He doesn't make those silly challenges in the penalty area before Jose turned up. That's for sure.
But even still, where's the goals come from? We end up conceding free kicks. Who by? Him. Which then lead to what?
What's Sissoko? Sissoko likes to do that.
He's another one. I would put them all on an EasyJet plane at the moment.
Bundle deal. I'm telling you, bundle deal.
I'm just going to respond to Sam Fisher's comment here. We are coming to Session. He's in the on loan players. That's why he's not on the defence currently. Tommy, any final thoughts on Sergio Aurier?
Well, I summed it up. The right back situation is so weird, especially with Tanganga. But I want Doherty out first. And I want both centre backs out. I want Dyer and Sanchez out. We're not going to get rid of Dyer, Sanchez, and 2 right backs. And I really want Dyer and Sanchez out. So I would just keep Aurier over Doherty. So yeah, Doherty would be the one going. Therefore Aurier stays. And as I said, I think he's improved. I do think he has improved. He's not going to be one of the best right backs in the Premier League. He never will be. But out of the 2, I'd keep Aurier.
Okay. Controversial, but we'll move on. Yaphet Tanganga. If you don't mind, I'll start with Yaphet. 22. I think when he's played, I think he's been good. He's had injury problems this season, but I think he is obviously an academy product. I think he's got potential. I really do. Whether that's at centre-back, whether that's at full-back, Jose's obviously muddied the waters with that. I think he sees himself as a centre-back, but for that reason anyway, I think he's good enough for me to say, yep, I want him to stay. 22 years of age. We got rid of Kyle Walker-Peters, and that was a real error in our behalf. I don't want to see the same thing happen with Yaphet Tanganga. So Yaphet is a stay for me.
I agree. All I'm going to say is I don't want him to stay and be a right back replacement or substitute. I want him to be part of the centre back 4 quartet that I've spoke about. I don't think he's a right back in my opinion. I think that there's space for him as a right centre back if we're going to play 3 at the back, because I feel like a manager that comes in might deploy 3 at the back if it helps. But as a right back, a direct right back replacement and competition, not for me. I think if he's going to stay, he has to stay as a centre back replacement in my opinion.
Next. Anybody else? Tommy? Mike? Which one do you want to go?
I repeat that. I really do agree with that. Because although he does give us an option at right back, I think when we went 4-4-2, he played well against Villa with him, and he helped out the other 2 centre backs a lot in the air from set pieces. But I think without a doubt he has to be a centre back in the future. And as I say, we get rid of Dyer and Sanchez, he can be our full centre back. Him and Rodon can be the young centre backs out of Varel. Then we bring in one brilliant centre back. I think that works. That works for me. Or we put him out on loan. Whatever happens, we don't sell. Whatever happens, we don't sell. No chance. I think his future lies at centre back, and I wouldn't mind seeing him as the full centre back next season. So yeah, 100% keeping. There's no doubt. There's no doubt whether I'd sell him or not.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should move on to the next one because we've still got a couple more defenders to go here. Okay, Ben Davies, 28. I didn't realise he was 20. I thought he was a bit older than that, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Ben Davies, 28. Darius?
I
don't know if this is controversial or not, but again, for this season and this season alone, I would keep Ben Davies only because I feel like Sessegnon and Reguilon are good left backs. They're probably the two left backs that we'd want as our left back replacements. But I feel like Ben Davies tactically could be a different left back, or he could play as a left centre back, and that's the only reason I'll keep him. I don't think he should have any big part in the team. I don't think he should be a first or second choice left back. I don't think he should be a first or second choice centre back. But I do believe that he's a good enough player to have an impact. I feel like kind of like a James Milner role, maybe not as versatile, but he can play decent in two positions, and I think that he could provide more than Eric Dyer can at centre back, in my opinion. And I also believe that he can provide more than number 15, so number 6. So I just think that for now, for this summer, keep him, and then next summer think about moving him on. But 28 years old, he actually isn't that young. He actually isn't that old. So I thought he was 29, pushing 30. So I don't see a problem with keeping him. To be fair, that might be controversial, but
okay, I'm going to go next. Ben, if you're watching, please pack your bags. Don't let the door slam on your way out. If I'm sleeping, it might wake me up. So Ben Davies, see you later. I'm finished with that one. On to the next. So Tommy.
See, I think this is fickleness at its strongest with Ben Davies. The fickle nature of football fans, especially us. I think that's how we sold Trippier in the end. The fans got on his back because he had a couple of dodgy games. Now, Ben Davies has been poor this season. He probably had one of the worst performances I've ever seen for a left back against Brighton. We were that bad. He was that bad. I know he got ripped apart by Sterling against Man City, but Sterling ripped some of the best fullbacks up in the world. But it's unforgivable against Brighton. But as a backup, I think he's fine. He's just had one real dodgy season, and he can double up as a centre back. He plays left centre back for Wales, I believe, and on a few streams, everyone's dissing Wales. Oh, he plays left centre back for Wales. What does that mean? They got to the Euros semi-finals 4 years ago. They're a big team. They've got Ramsey, Bell. You can't mug them off. Plus, I've got a few Wales fans on my stream, so I can't mug them off too much, and they love it.
I don't mind mugging them off. I don't mind. I'll do it for you.
But Sessegnon's not a left back. Sessegnon's not a left back, so I'd keep him as. But Sessegnon is 1,000,000% not a left back. No,
left wing back at best, then.
From a left winger to a left back. No,
I want to come to Mike. Before I come to Mike, as I said, you said about backup. I'm full of it tonight. If he's going to be a backup, I'd rather have a floppy disk. That's how bad I think he is. I would rather have a floppy disk than him as bloody backup. No chance. You're mad. Mike.
This season alone, I think Davis has been fine for us. But for summer months, if we've got Dennis, what's his name?
Dennis Sirkin.
Sirkin, that's it. Dennis Sirkin. I can never pronounce his surname. We've got Sirkin. We've got Reguilon if he stays. I think this all depends on who leaves and who stays. So if we keep Reguilon for another season, then obviously with Sessegnon and Reguilon and Dennis Sirkin, I don't see the point in keeping Davis. If we do end up having to give Reguilon back for whatever reason, then obviously finding a left back might be easier said than done. So then I'd keep him. So I think it all does depend on if we keep Reguilon, then I'd be happy to say thanks for your service.
Thanks for the memories.
Thanks for
Hold on, Mike. Did you just say Ben Davies has had a fine season?
He's had a decent season. I think he's had a solid season.
Come on. To be fair to him. What constitutes a bad season? If he's had a decent season, what constitutes a bad season?
The only thing you're going on the basis of him being crap against Brighton and Liverpool. I mean, Ori has been. No,
he had 3 or 4 games. He had 3 or 4 games. He was.
And then we look at Sanchez. If we compare it to Sanchez,
that's not 6, his name, bro.
if we compare it to the number 6
This is great.
I think Davis has been. I think he goes back
to stay. Mate, I'm like you, Mike. I'm like you. I want him to stay, but
I'm not saying I want him to stay.
He's had a bad season.
No, I don't think he has. I think he's been all right, to be fair to him. But
I don't know what you two got in your drinks.
If we keep Reguilon, if we get Session back, if we've got Dennis Sirkin, there's no need for Davis. So 28 years of age, if we can get 10, 12 million for him, yeah, off you go, mate.
And they've been shafted. Whoever pays that, they've been shafted. Let's go on to the last one in this defensive unit here.
Let's make this one quick.
Yeah, make this one quick. Move on. Danny Rose, no
I
points.
think he's already going, isn't he? He's already going, isn't he? It's the end of the final year of his contract.
His contract's up. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
He's done.
Well,
he's done.
Romeo done. He's gone.
He's finished. Done.
Done. On that, we finished with
21 seconds.
Come on, man. You can't be throwing in them things like that now, man. Not when I'm probably doing this live, man. That's not good. Man. Oh, good, man. Romeo, done. 21 seconds is gone. Right, move on. Midfielders. We have.
I'm gonna have a field day with these lot.
We're gonna have a real day with this lot. We have Mr. Højbjerg. We have number 8. We have Eric Lamela. We have bloody number 17. We have Dele Alli. I'm still going to call him by his name because he's just about got a name still. Tanguy and Giovanni Lo Celso. So let's just take off the banners so we can see the age of those players at the bottom. Dele Alli, 25. Tanguy, 24. Giovanni, 25. Now, if you look at the ages of those defenders,
not too bad.
Those midfielders, it's pretty good. Obviously, number 17 apart. And possibly Eric Lamela, but even Eric Lamela being I thought he was in his 30s for some reason.
I think we skip the first one, don't we? Though, do we skip the first one?
Yeah, first one's
easy.
Yeah,
I think the second one's easy personally, but that's up to you guys. If you want to,
I just want to have a discussion about it. I do want to have a little discussion because I think you spelled his name wrong.
Who is the first? I want to hear this. Who's
even mention his name
here?
I want to hear what discussion we've got to have about him first.
Yeah, no, I just want to hear people slander him because I enjoy hearing the slander. That's all I was going to say. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Harry Stinks needs to go. He's my first one. Tommy, I said there was somebody else. He's my first one that needs to go, in my opinion. I think you could probably. I think you can get the best. I think you get the most money for him. I think you get 20-30 million for him.
I reckon someone's going to pay that money. They're mugs.
Yeah, I completely disagree. Oh my God!
Here we go. I'm going to put you on full screen. Here we go.
Full screen him.
I've been saying it. I've been as adamant of this as I have with Sarri. Look, Harry Winks is in the same mould as Michael Carrick, Gilberto Silva. They never got the love from their fans because the way they play, they're never going to get the love. They don't score goals. They don't assist. They don't make last-ditch challenges, but they're raw. They can do something special in a flat free centre midfield. Harry Winks can do something special. Pochettino saw it. Mourinho saw it at the end of last season. He can play. He does
special.
There's certain players when you analyse them in depth, they don't. As I said, they don't make the last-ditch challenges. Nobody liked Gilberto Silva, but it was part of the Invincibles. It was a massive part of the Invincibles. 95 caps for Brazil. Michael Carrick was outstanding. 12 years at Man United. Their own fans derided them because he didn't score goals, didn't assist, and didn't make last-ditch challenges. But in tight areas, he's fantastic. With his back to his goalkeeper, he's fantastic at not passing to the goalkeeper. Now, that's a skill in itself. When you've got the back towards the keeper, not passing to the keeper, dummying, going to left back, right back, or choosing another centre mid. He's got a lot of skill that he's not gonna be a match winner, but he turns a good team into a very good team, and he turns a very good team into a world-class team potentially. Same with Pirlo, same as Xavi. Of course, Pirlo and Xavi.
You're trying to sell us a dead horse here, mate.
No, he's a good player. He doesn't play.
Tommy. I'm just going to say this to the people watching at home.
Paxton Road
TV do not take responsibility for Spurs Zone TV. We are not taking responsibility for Tommy's comments. I personally do not want to take anything to do with that.
Tommy,
I'll finish. I've got to go now. Look, I've got to go now. I'm just going to end with this. Yeah, I'm just going to end with this.
It's a bloody good job.
I'm just going to finish with this, right? I'm just going to finish with this. Ultra deep Mourinho style will never ever work for a Harry Winks type player. And people keep talking about Oliver Skip coming next season. He is the exact same player as Oliver Skip. The exact. There's no difference. Oliver Skip scored 1 goal, 2 assists all season. 1 goal,
That's
2
more
assists
than Harry
all
Winks,
season.
isn't it?
He's
Just
got
let that
40.
sink in
We
before
don't
you
care. It
go,
doesn't
Tommy.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Just
We
let
don't.
that sink
He doesn't
in
need
from
to,
Kevin.
He doesn't
You
need to
cannot
score or
compare
assist.
Harry Stinks with Xavi.
There's no
But-
comparison. There's no.
You can't.
Listen to Pochettino. Listen to what Pochettino said about
Tommy,
him, and
do
he
it
put him in the
yourself.
same bracket as Xavi. He put him in the
Don't
same
do it
bracket as
to
Xavi. Not as quality.
Tommy,
Not as quality.
Tommy,
But,
you put this out into
that's
the
it.
world. You put this out into the world. You can't take this back. Tommy,
Mate,
you
I
can't
can't help-
take it back.
I've
can't
got
help you
streams
on this.
dedicated.
I can't
I've
help
got
you with this
streams
one.
dedicated to Harry Winks. I've got streams
I can't help
dedicated to Harry Winks.
I can't
So,
help you.
And I will be tuning into that, Tommy. I will definitely be tuning into that moment.
What show are you going on to
more.
next? What show are you going on to
Don't
next?
do it to him,
I've
Sam.
got
You
to
can't. After that,
I've got to go to Tottenham away, and it's
I'm coming on
very,
that. As soon as
very.
this is finished, I'm coming on that just to give you grief on that. I know it's a different
No,
type
but
of show,
what it is, Sam, it's not like that. It's a bit like the Friday show, the racist and
Okay.
bigotry one. But this is
Okay,
about mental
fair
health. So we're not really gonna go into Harry Winks. But
he's not doing anyone's mental health any good.
It's doing a
Don't
good
do it.
one.
Don't do it. Let's not bring up
But
Harry Winks
it's
on
a
that
very,
program.
very important show in Tottenham away.
Yes.
This has been in the pipeline for a long time, a few weeks now.
100%.
So
100%.
after you finish watching this, certainly come over there, or if you're watching on the recorded version, watch the recorded version because and like away comment is very, very important. And for that show, this is not about subs and likes for that show tonight.
Exactly.
This is
Yeah.
this is about addiction from streamers. This is about myself. I got epilepsy. I had a seizure live on there. So there's a lot of stories from everyone there. So
In all
certainly,
seriousness, that's going to be a show
after you
for people to watch out for. Go across the Tottenham away. It's going to be a really good show. And I do, like I said, it's a very important subject. So jokes aside, thank you very much for coming on here. But please,
Cool, man.
when you come on here next time, don't do that. Don't do that, please.
What? When he goes to Atletico Madrid next year, and starts ripping it up, don't come crying to me. But yeah,
He's going to be ripping that subs bench up, mate.
but
If
yeah,
we get
and
50
please
mil for him,
hit my channel
Why
if you want to
is it
see
so
more on
long?
Harry Winks. If you want to see more on Harry Winks, Spurs on TV, give me a sub, get liking, and sub to this channel as well. Sub to this channel. I love this channel.
Spurs.
When I'm not doing my own thing, I'm always watching this. So
Spurs on
take it
TV.
easy, boys. Take it easy, boys.
Take it easy,
And
mate.
Sorry's coming as well. In a bit.
You said too much now. You said too much now. Get him out. And let's move on from this Winks conversation because we can all agree that he's getting out of that club straight away.
can we just elaborate the fact that Tommy did not speak on behalf of Paxton Road TV?
I'm going to
And
definitely.
he also said Winks, Xavi, Iniesta. Who else did he mention? All in the same sentence. He needs to be arrested for that. I'll call the police right after this stream. Don't worry, guys. I'll call the police.
Seriously. Right, let's calm it down a bit and move on because we have to.
So we're all sell, right? Just to double check, we are all sell Harry Winks, aren't we? Harry Stinks, sorry.
He's gone.
Cool.
He's done.
Cool.
Gone.
Cool.
Get rid.
Cool.
Eric Lamela. Now, for me,
Difficult.
Eric Lamela, it is because he's probably played his best season all the time he's been here in the 8 years he's been here. He's 29 years of age. He's not over the hill. He's probably definitely an asset for somebody. And I think maybe because he's been here for that long, we could potentially cash in. I don't know how long his contract is, but only for that reason. Not because I dislike the player, but I just think because he's been here that long, he has been injury prone. We're getting the best out of him at the moment, and we probably could sell him and get a decent price for him for someone like Roma. Because
I was just about to say that'll probably be the perfect place because he came from there, didn't he?
That's where he came from. So I think a return to Roma wouldn't be too bad for him.
Jose with him as well.
Any thoughts on Eric Lamela? Darius first.
I'll be really quick. I'm sell. I believe that everything you said is right. I think it's a perfect time for him to go. He's played probably his best season. And Roma, you know what? Jose and him at Roma, that could actually be all right, to be honest. So yeah. And that's it. I think so.
And just added to that, I mean, he's been. I think I read a stat on him the other day. He's been injured for about 105 Tottenham games, which is when you look at that over the course of a season, that's three league campaigns, isn't it? So
2 full seasons, isn't it?
Well, I'm going on the basis of like 30 odd games.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that basis, 105 games. He's too injury prone. There's no point having him fit for a quarter of a season. It just doesn't do us any favors. So I like him. I do like Lamela, but at some point, every player has their time, and I think his time's up in summer. So I'd get rid of as well.
So just while what viewers are watching, I hope you're enjoying the show. Like, subscribe, share, comment. We are going a little bit longer tonight. We usually keep the show to about an hour, but we might be a little bit longer tonight. But I hope you're enjoying it. Please leave your comments. Continue to leave comments. I'll read out this one from Joe Grimes, which made me laugh. And Tommy wants Sarri as manager. He's laughing about that.
I mean, do you know what? If Sarri, and I'm not saying I don't want this to happen, but if Sarri was a manager, he probably would keep Harry Winks because he would be his perfect Jorginho player, wouldn't he? Just to tick the ball around the pitch. So that's probably why he wants Harry Winks to stay, because Harry Winks and Sarri probably would work quite well.
Let's
move on, please, because it gets worse.
I'm cool with moving on straight from.
Oh yeah, we can. Down now. Yeah, we can go. We can go.
The top row. I'm done with the top row. So
we can go.
Mike, unless you want to say something about number 17, you're more than welcome.
I've already packed his bags, mate.
Yeah.
Is he included in the bundle deal? So who have we got in the bundle deal? We've got Harry Winks, we've got Sissoko, got number 15 and number 6 all going in the same bundle deal, all right? On EasyJet. Cool. I agree.
Any destination they want.
And because they can only take 10K's worth of luggage, they're going to have to send their luggage on some other way, some other form.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the extra luggage. Don't worry.
I'll ship that out with them. Dele Alli, this is going to be an interesting one. Mike, what's your thoughts on Dele Alli? 25 years of age.
I'm going on the basis here that we've got a lot of players that potentially want to get rid of. And if we're realistic, we're not going to get rid of all them in the summer. So I think any manager that comes in would probably want to try and keep Ali because he is a good player. I just think he's just had a hard time, hasn't he, this season with Jose? For whatever reason that might be, it hasn't worked out for him. I think most managers would keep him. So
he's had such a hard time from Jose. He's decided to put fake dreads in his hair. That's how bad Dele Alli has had this season from Jose. He decided, and me and Jones was talking about that. He didn't even put braids in his hair. He went and put fake dreads. That's how
wasn't even braids.
That's how much he's been effed up. So again,
I've never seen anybody put fake dreads in. I've seen fake braids, but someone actually wants dreadlocks. That's a first for me. That is a first.
That's really that's how bad it's gone. So again,
I'd keep.
Darius?
I don't agree, unfortunately. We had a great stream earlier, us lot, with well, not earlier, but a few days ago with Irish Hotspur, and I called him Dele Marley. I also called him Smelly Ali. I think he needs to go. I'm done with him, honestly. And the thing is, I actually watched the highlights back of the Tottenham Sheffield United game, and I will admit, I was a little bit harsh on him in that game. He didn't actually play that bad in that game. I will admit, he was working quite hard. He was winning the ball back quite a lot. I will admit, he did pretty well in that game. However, I am going off the basis, and I have the same. I'm saying this with the same thought process as Winks and Lamella. These players still kind of, and Sanchez as well, number 6. These players still have value. I think you could probably still get a good 25 million out of those 4. I think you can get 20 million out of Melo. I think you get 25 for Winks. I think you get 25, 30 plus for Dele Alli. I think you get 25 for Sanchez. And that's 100 million right there. And obviously, you might not reinvest that completely. But in my opinion, the players that we are doubting who have the most value, I think, are the first ones that should go. Because, like, for example, Ben Davis. I don't think Ben Davis has a lot of value, and I still think he has a place in the team. However, Dele Alli hasn't really had a place in the team for the past year or so now, and I just think that's down to a system. I think unless you've got a system that complements Dele Alli, there's no point in having him, because I don't think he's good enough for that compensation of a whole system. So for me, it's time to go, and you could probably still get a good fee for him.
But then you're damaging that homegrown quarter, aren't you?
That's another issue, because I mean I'm getting rid of Winks, Ali, and also Danny Rose as well, and Joe Hart. So you are right in that sense.
15, whatever he is.
We'll get to some players later. Kevin Murray agrees with Mike. Dele keep as a future with Spurs. I would like to see him potentially for a few months under a new manager, but I think because of his age, because I've not seen him in the last couple of years improve his game. I know with different reasons and whatever, but I just think maybe it's time for him and his career to maybe move on. I think he may potentially do something somewhere else. I still think he needs a team built around him, and I just don't think it's going to be with a top 4 team that you're going to be able to do that with. So maybe abroad might be a good option for him. At 25, we can certainly get money. And that's one of the reasons why I think Daniel Levy is trying to hold out on him. But as I said, he's one that does cause a little bit more of a talking point than some of the others that we've already spoke about. But let's move on. Tanga, is that simple enough for everybody?
I think we can move on to the strikers, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is if Tanguy wants to stay. And I'm just going to pose a question to you two. And obviously he's not played against Sheffield. He's not played in the final. If Tanguy suddenly sort of throws his toys out the pram and kind of advocates for a move, let's say if a manager that he doesn't think is good enough comes in, do you kind of try and sell him for a lot of money and replace him, or do you say, no, mate, you are staying and you're playing for us?
I think like they did when Jose came and he wasn't agreeing with Jose, you keep him. This is too much of a talent, in my opinion. And that's as simple as that for me. Too much of a talent. At 24 years of age, this guy could become I think he's world-class as it is. I don't think he's playing necessarily world-class levels every week, but he's got world-class in him. I've seen so many training shots. I've seen so many things. This guy, to me, he's the future of Spurs if we want him to be and if he wants to be. Anything more, Mike, on that?
No, not really. I agree with what you're saying. I think he's one of he's definitely one of the players we try to keep at all costs. But he's just probably not being played in that right. I think he needs to be playing a little bit further forward.
I just think he needs to just dominate possession in games, don't we? Imagine him ticking the ball around, threading passes. It'd be so much better than him trying to pick the ball up and defend. So, like I said, I think a lot of these plays you might see an improvement in performance if a system complements them. The only question is you're not going to get a system that complements every single player. So some of them are going to have to be a sacrifice. Yeah,
Giovanni.
I think it's a no-brainer. He has to stay, especially if we're getting rid of a lot of these players here. Then you're gonna have to keep him.
Yeah, and I think he had a better game when he was playing that double pivot.
Yeah.
I think he played well. I as I said, I've always liked Giovanni. I just think again he's one that's been hampered by injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe in and out the team. Played in the wrong position sometimes. And again, you just got to play to these players' strengths. If we can get the balance in midfield with those three, Højbjerg, Ndombele and Giovanni, I think we've got one of the best midfielders out there. Sorry, one of the best midfield threesomes out there. So let us move on. This might be quite quick as well.
Should be.
The one in the middle might be a bit controversial, but I think if we just deal with Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, I think we don't need to talk about those two.
Again, the ages it surprises me because they're obviously 28, 27's quite old, but still these guys are in their prime and they've got 4 or 5 years of them. They've got 4 or 5 years of them.
As I said, I don't think we need to discuss them too much. We have to keep these two players, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Yeah, but let's deal with Gareth Bale. Mike, do you want to deal with Gareth Bale first in terms of your thoughts on Gareth Bale? Should he stay or should he go? Basically, he's saying he wants to stay, I think. He's saying he would like to stay. Scored a hat-trick at the weekend.
Yeah. I'd keep him. Keep him, 100%. I think if we can extend I wouldn't buy him, but if we can extend his loan by another season, I think that would probably work well for both parties. Because I think anyone that comes in from Bale probably going to try a cheeky loan, aren't they? Let's be honest. I think if he's happy, if the manager's happy, whoever it might be coming in, surely it's a no-brainer. He's a world-class talent. Why would we get rid of him? He doesn't have to play week in, week out. We can just be select. Just the manager that comes in just needs to manage him right. If they need to be selective, if we only get 25 games out of him, but say we got 25 wins in the games that he's played, then surely that's a no-brainer in it. But yeah, for me, quite straightforward. I'd keep him on another year's loan deal.
Darius, any difference to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just wanted to show you the notes that I put. He was the player that I had big question mark because I actually am undecided. I don't actually know with Gareth Bale. I've kind of critiqued him because I think that what I expected from Bale was him to perform in the bigger games. That's what I kind of saw Bale to be the person to do. If you've got Kane, Bale and Son playing in a big game, I think that should give your whole team more confidence. But he hasn't seemed to really perform in those bigger games. However, in the games that you want him to win and expect him to perform in, he has. And his numbers and his stats aren't bad. He's really scored a lot of goals for the minutes he's been given. So I think, Mike, you probably nailed it perfectly for me. I couldn't really think of an explanation. But if he has 25 games, if you've got 25 games out of Gareth Bale and he produces the sort of output that he has this season, I personally wouldn't have a problem with him staying, because I wouldn't have him as a starter. And like you said, I wouldn't buy him fully permanently. But to say, like you said, 25 games, maybe against your Brightons, your Southamptons, your Crystal Palaces, those teams where you're going to have the majority of possession, you're not really going to be pressured. You're not expected to get back as much. I think he's going to be a perfect person in our squad.
Let me just give you the stats. So obviously, in terms of top scorers this season, Harry Kane 26 goals, Heung-min-Son 20 goals, Gareth Bale's third on the list, 14 goals in 30 played, and that's obviously including the number of appearances as sub
off the bench. So, if you look at the minutes played, he probably has the best minutes per game, minutes per goals ratio.
So his goals per minute is 0.85. Harry Kane's is 0.68. So you're right.
Exactly.
In terms of when he plays, in the time he plays, he's got to be. And I've changed my opinion on him. I was like, no. But then I think now, having seen what he's doing and his finishes at the weekend were
ridiculous.
Class. Absolute class. No brainer for me. Gareth Bale, want you to stay. Gareth Bale, if you're watching, please stay another season.
And I think, like I said, if I lower my expectations from what I expect from a 31-year-old Gareth Bale, I think I probably would be happy with what he's done this season. I just think I expected too much going in. Like, you get excited seeing Bale back, thinking, him, Kane and Son are going to be devastating. But he's scored a lot of goals and he's done a decent job, so I can't be mad.
Lucas Moura.
Again, I think it's a keep for me. I don't know about you guys, but that's a no-brainer as well.
I think he's a keep. I think he's a keep.
I think he's probably been, I would say, the most underrated player that's this season. In terms of, we've sung the praises of Kane, we've sung the praises of Son, sung the praises of Ndombele, sung the praises of Højbjerg. But I still feel like Lucas gets quite a bit of slander from the fan base. And you know what? I'm going to be real. Every time he's on the pitch, and even off the pitch, like, I know he can't go off social media and stuff, but he's Spurs through and through. He loves the club, and it shows on the pitch. And he really has galvanized us at some points in this season. He's really dragged the whole team through games and sort of been the person that set the precedent and set the energy level. So for me, Lucas Moura, at 28 years old as well, he's lost a little bit of pace, but he's still got his pace. His dribbling ability is still there. I think Lucas Moura, I think he's great. I think he'd be great for the team still. So
let's move on from Lucas now, because we're all agreed. Carlos Vinicius. Mike, what's your thoughts on Carlos? Are we going to pay? Firstly, remember, if we want to buy him and keep him,
how much is he?
36 million.
36 mil. Now,
pounds.
This is Daniel Levy we're talking about. We ain't paying 36 million for this guy. So, is he done enough for you to think we would pay 36 million to him to stay?
No, we won't pay 36 million for him at all. I can't see it. Even if he is worth it, we just haven't seen enough of him to be able to, as fans, make a judgment call on him. I think there's something there. I do think he is a talent. From what I have seen, he seems like one of those sort of almost like an old school or an old-fashioned striker, one of those 18-yard boxes where the ball just seems to drop to his feet and he finds the back of the net. And any team in the land needs a striker like that who's just got that knack of being there at the right time, right place, etc. So if it was another loan deal, I would probably give him another season if that was possible on the same sort of deal that we got. I'd give him another crack, and I think another manager would probably give him a fair
more, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they would. Why wouldn't you? You can't play 100%. Kane in every game, so I just don't think he's had a fair crack at the whip. So I would, on that basis, for me, I'd give him another. If we can get him for another year's loan, see what he's about, then make the decision then.
I'm agreeing with you on the loan thing. If we can get him on loan, I keep him. If we had to buy him at 36 million, sorry, he has to go. Darius, quick comment.
I was going to say the same. I think that he's, again, if you look at the appearances and the appearances stats, it's very misleading. When you look at minutes to goals, that really shows you the kind of impact they make when they're on the pitch. And he scored a lot of goals. And I know the opposition doesn't help, but when he's been on the pitch and when he's actually been given the opportunity, he's actually done all right. And also, I do believe that he contributes not as much as Harry Kane in build-up, but he works hard off the pitch. On and off the pitch, he seems to press. He seems to be able to have a little bit of defensive quality as well. So yeah, if he's on loan, I think another manager as a two up front with Harry Kane, that could work. And again, if we can get a better deal with Benfica, you might be able to get it for a cheaper fee. So yeah, on loan, but 36 million, absolutely no chance. There's much more important positions.
Yeah,
Last one on this forwards list, and before we get onto the loan players, which might be quite quick as well. So let me just remove the banner so we can see his age. Stephen Bergwijn, 23 years of age. I think we should keep him. I don't think we've seen the best of him. I think it'd be a shame to get rid of a player based on the fact that I don't think he's been given enough game time. I don't think he got on with Jose Mourinho. And I think there's something there. I really do. I believe there's an ability there. I just think he needs more of an arm around his shoulder. He's a type of player that looks like he needs an arm around his shoulder. Come on, you're the best player here. Even if he's not, just tell him he's the best player and let him go out and do his thing. And he got some finishing in him. I think he's definitely a player that I would like to see more for next season.
Yeah,
so I'm keeping Stevie B.
100%. I feel strongly. Sorry, you go first. Brian, you go first.
No, it's quite simple for me. Keep. Why would we get rid of him? He has got bags of potential. And we have seen. So he has some of the goals he has scored for Tottenham. All right, maybe not this season, but previous season, he scored some great goals. I think there's more to come from him. So it's a no-brainer. Keep him.
Nice one.
Yeah, I was going to say I feel most strongly about this one. I just think that with the right manager and the right system, he can be a much better player. And I think his finishing does lack a lot. I think that his finishing needs a lot of work. But again, he's not been given the opportunity. So I just feel it's unfair to sell a player, especially when you brought him in January to kind of not even give a chance before you even sell. So there's many other players that have to go before him.
Yeah.
So we've dealt with all the players in terms of the squad. We just go through what we've looked at. So we've looked at the goalkeepers: Hugo Lloris, Joe Hart, Alfie Whiteman. We've looked at our defensive lineup. We've got Matt Doherty, Sergei Reguilon, Toby Alderweireld, number 6, Joe Rodon, number 15, Serge Aurier, Japhet Tanganga, Ben Davis, and Danny Rose. And then we've looked into our midfield: Pierre, Harry Stinks, Eric Lamela, number 17, Dele Alli, Tanguy Ndombele, and Giovanni Lo Celso. And our forward line: Heung-min Son, Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, Carlos Vinicius, and Stevie B. Now, just to finish off, because we do have several players who are out on loan, I've put on the loan players. And these are our loan players. Again, I'll just take the banner off so we can just see ages. Ryan Sessegnon, Juan Foyth, Paolo Gazzaniga, Oliver Skipp, Jack Clark, and Carter Vickers. And the surprising thing, again, is just the age of some of these players that are out on loan. Oliver Skipp, 20. He looks like a man who looks like he's had a hard life, because he looks like he's about 32 to me in that picture. But he's 20 years of age. Jack Clark looks like he's about 16, but he's 20. Cameron Carter-Vickers, 23. Gazzaniga, 29. Surprised me in that. Juan Foyth, 23. And Ryan Sessegnon, 20. Let's start with Ryan Sessegnon. Stay or go?
Has to stay.
Yeah, agreed. Quite simple.
Hasn't been given a chance, has he?
Simple for me. Has to stay.
He's only 20. God.
20.
No, he's very young.
Do you know when his birthday is? His birthday is May the 18th.
Wow, not far from me.
21. So again, yes, that's what I'm saying.
No-brainer.
Young player, no-brainer. Juan Foyth, this is a good one.
Now, I think Villarreal are going to sell him, but I would keep him. I think he's good. I've always liked him, man. He's better than Dio.
Juan Foyth, I like him.
He's better than Dio.
Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen, Mike. Go on.
I'd get rid of him. Him, Dyer, number 6, those 3 centre backs. There, they can go. I just don't think Foyth will be the player that we want in the Premier League. I just don't see it. I think
I think I agree.
I just don't think he's not built for the Premier League. I mean, he might be a cultured centre back in overseas and stuff, but for what we want and what we need, me personally, I'd take the money. If Villarreal want to buy him, take it.
I was on the fence with this guy. I was like, there's a couple of things. You've mentioned it before. I don't know if he's built for the Premier League. When he was playing, he seemed to get into a bit of trouble. He made mistakes. He was forced into mistakes. The game pace seems to be a little bit too quick for him. The other thing as well is the homegrown thing. So maybe adding that as well, you know what I mean? That's probably one of the reasons why he was put out onto loan. So if he's enjoying himself in Spain, let him stay.
He's doing well as well, to be fair. So like I said, you get about, I think it's 10 or 11 million euros, I think, is the buy option. So like I said, get 10 million, invest it. That's cool.
Can we move on from that one?
Yeah, go on then.
Cool. Paolo Gazzaniga. This goes for me, in terms of going back, I would rather have him as our number 2 than Joe Hart. I'll be honest with you. I liked him as a keeper. I even thought when Lloris was out with that injury that he had, I thought he deputised really well. Yes, he made some mistakes, but what keeper doesn't? I just think the age he is, he's a good age. He's not over the hill. He's not too young. He's experienced enough. And I personally believe, given a good run, yes, you want a keeper that's going to be world-class. But if you can't get a world-class keeper, which there's not that many of them about, you have to go for someone who's very good. And I think he's good. I think he's good enough to play in the Prem. So I'd keep him.
I think I would. Apart from the fly kick that he did against Chelsea, he really didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, again, I agree with you. The only issue for me is if you send out Free Whiteman out on loan, I would still bring Gazzaniga back. It's just who would you play ahead of? I would still play Gazzaniga ahead of Joe Hart. But again, if Joe Hart doesn't leave, I don't see Gazzaniga staying, and he's not doing great at Elche either. I read so. I would. The only reason I would keep him is because of Joe Hart, because I just don't think Joe Hart is good at all. But I still think that goalkeeper, regardless of whatever happens, the year after would still need to be addressed. So it's a temporary thing.
Mike,
I'd get rid.
Okay.
Do you remember? Was it when Lloris broke his arm and he filled in for quite a few games?
Yeah.
I would put quite a lot of the goals that we conceded. A better keeper would have saved them, and I think his quality showed when he was playing in that stint for us in goal as the regular number one whilst Lloris was out, and it was just silly goal, like not silly goals, but a better keeper. I honestly think would have saved a majority of the goals that we were conceding when Gazzaniga was in, and I do like him, but I just don't. I think. For 29 years of age, he's probably got ambitions to probably want to be a number one somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On that basis, yeah,
that's a very good point.
I'd let him go. If we can get some money for him, take it. Do you know what? I'd probably even take the money and reinvest it into someone in the academy and give them the opportunity to come up.
I think that's a very good point about him being 29 years of age and probably wanting to be number one. And in that basis, coming back to us, not likely to get a game. Because if we then, let's say we did sell Lloris, it probably wouldn't be him that would be looked. We'd probably want to get someone like, as I said, a Nick Pope or Dean Henderson, whatever that would be. So he's likely to be number two, always going to be the bridesmaid and never the bride, as they say. Let us then move on. Hopefully this one again. Oops, wrong graphic. As they do, you put the wrong graphic up sometimes, but we'll go on to this one. Oliver Skipp, I like him. I want to see him. Yeah. I don't want him to be on loan again next season. I want him in and around his first team. Oliver Skipp is a stay for me.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward, isn't it?
I agree. He has to. No brainer.
Nothing to add to that. It's easy.
Pulling up trees at Norwich. Obviously, they've won the league, and hopefully he doesn't come back and say he wants to go off again. I think he'll be in and around that first team and pushing places. Jack Clark. And
just on what Tommy said, I do agree with him about the similarities of him and Winks, but I just think that he's so much better.
No, there's no similarity.
So much better than
No.
You don't think there's any? Not even a slight.
He can pass forward. I've seen what he's doing at Norwich. He can pass forward.
And he can drive as well.
And he can run with the ball.
Yeah.
No, Harry Winks is not his. No, I'm not having that. No, sorry. Jack Clark.
Sell for me.
Would you?
Yeah, and the only reason I'm saying sell is because Sonny, Steven Bergwijn, Lucas, Bale, if he stays, all play ahead of him, and I still don't think he's. I don't even think he's that good anyway. I think just sell him for the 10 mil. Why would you pay 10 mil? That's why we paid like £10 million for him, and he's not even seen.
Have you seen enough of him though?
I've not seen anything of him, and it's like £10 million. It's like, for me, there's too many players ahead of him, and he's not pulling trees like he said. He's not. I put Scarlett ahead of him. I think Scarlett's a better left winger than him. So like, why are we giving this guy a chance? Let's just sell him and just kind of reinvent. In my opinion, it's a harsh truth, but like, there's a reason why the guy was bought from Leeds, didn't get a game, got shipped out to Stoke. Like, he's not going to get into the team anytime soon, in my opinion. There's 4 players ahead of him, like I said. So
how old is he?
20 years old, but what are we going to do? Hold on to him for 3 more years and send him on loan and then sell him in the future? Like, he's going to just depreciate, or he'll end up going on a free. So just get rid of him while you can, in my opinion. That's only me. I just think that he's not good enough to kind of hold that faith onto. Like, Oliver Skip is a good enough centre-back to get into the team. And Sessegnon, I think, has room to be a good backup left-back. For me, Jack Clark is the left winger. He hasn't done anything in the time given, and I don't think he will do anything. He's not been very good at Stoke either. So, yeah, for me, unfortunately, £10 million was too much anyway. Just cut your losses.
I'm undecided.
It is a tough one. I agree with you.
Do you not think it's tough?
Yeah, I think it's tough, mate. I think I saw Clark play 2 games for Stoke before he got injured, and he has been unfortunate with injuries at Stoke this season. Hence why he's not. His loan there wasn't great. I think he's been recalled from loan, hasn't he, because of his injuries? So I think he's actually back from Spurs, if my memory serves me right here. He's 20 years of age. I mean, I'd keep him. I'd keep him for another season. I would keep him because he could. It's one of them whereby, you know what happened? We let him go, and then he flourishes under another manager, and we're like, oh, you had Jack Clark, but you let him go, and now look at him. It's like,
is that keep him in the squad, or is that keep him and then loan him again for the next season?
I'd keep him, load him out for 6 months, and then bring him back.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the keep. The reason being, I was a bit undecided, but then again, we're looking at homegrown talent, quota, and all the rest of it. Again, bring somebody like that back, 20 years of age. There's a lot of things that can happen between 20 and then 21 because players' development we've seen what can happen with players like Oliver Skip. So again, we don't know enough about him having been injury, having been sent out. Confidence-wise, it could have been damaged. If he gets brought back into the fold, trains with the first team on a regular basis, gets given the love, and then says, look, we want to keep you for the future. We're going to send you out on loan to the right club. I think it's always got to be the right club. He gets to play games, and then we can get to see. If he goes out on loan again next season and does a similar type of thing, then you can make a decision on him. But I still think it's a little bit early to make a decision on a 20-year-old who hasn't been given a chance, who has had injury problems as well, and the homegrown quota thing. We've always got to look at that as something to consider because that's been a problem for us this season. So I'm going to give Jack, I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to say, we're going to keep you. Last player on the list, and then we are finished for our show for tonight. Cameron Carter-Vickers. I didn't even know he was still around, to be honest.
Where is he on loan at? Is it Bournemouth he's on loan?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
He's doing quite well at Bournemouth as well, but sell.
Yeah, sell.
Yeah.
If we're getting rid of Foyth and Carter-Vickers, like, we have to bring in a centre-back, but those two aren't going to be, and I know what you mean about Foyth, they aren't going to kind of get their place into that starting 11. They're not going to really fight for a place in the starting 11. So just cut your losses, make 20 mil maybe off them combined, and try and reinvest.
This is how I look at it. If they've been that good, we could have recalled them from loan, considering how bad we've been defensively.
Exactly.
Now, whether or not their loan options weren't to allow them, but if they were that good, we could have probably brought Cameron Carter-Vickers back.
And how many seasons has he been on loan? I mean, every season he's on loan.
23 now. Look at him. He's 23. So, like, and you were saying about just to say what you about Jack Clark. He hasn't played a consistent amount of games like Oliver Skip at age 20. Where I feel like you're right in what you're saying. Where you just need that experience of playing almost week in, week out at that age. And once you make that transition from 20 to 21 and you're playing consistent game time, you're going to be a better player. Because Carter-Vickers he's been throwing around teams. He's probably not been starting in teams. His development's been halted because of that. So players like Sessegnon, who were playing first team football from 17, 18, their development is sky high. So yeah, for me, 23 years old, he isn't young anymore in my opinion. I don't think 23 is really that young.
But I think he's one of the first names on the team sheet for Bournemouth.
Is it? I have no idea. I've not been paying attention. So.
I've not watched enough of him, but I know when he's
not good enough for Tottenham. He's not good enough.
And if we're talking about our defense, and I keep saying, if our defense has been that bad this season, and he was doing that much, we could have maybe thought about bringing. I know the deals and all the rest of it with what they've signed up to in terms of loan. I don't know, but we need better, and I just don't think he's good enough.
Nah.
Gentlemen, wow, that was a long one. 1 hour 20. I thought it was going to be long, but I didn't think it was that long. Ooh, it was good though. I think we got to the point, and I hope those who are watching, please, again, like, subscribe, and share this around. Make sure you tell people about Paxton Road TV. We enjoy all the comments. We really do react to them, so please keep putting them into the comments. And if you're watching this on a recording after the live show, again, do the same thing. Put your comments in the comment section below. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Mike, Darius, it's been a very interesting one, very enlightening. Some players had names, some players had numbers.
I was going to say, I hope we're doing the what's it called, recruitment after for another talking point.
We'll have to do another
replacing
one.
These Deadwood players.
Some of them have got easy jet tickets to pick up on their way out of Tottenham's training ground tomorrow. But it's been a good one. Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching. It's been Talking Points. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week.